Hey everyone, welcome to Eternal Brews. My name is Pojo. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Endra Champion of Shavka because, yeah, it's a deck that's probably going to be doing really well in the meta right now and seems like something interesting to be discussing. I'm heading off for Christmas break, so we got a little time for brews and I'm hoping to record some tonight, but it's going to be pretty sparse for a little bit. We will be gone from Saturday to Saturday, the 22nd to the 29th, I think, and yeah, we'll be trying to post some stuff up as we go from our laptop, but it's going to be a little bit slow. So I thought I'd try to get something out real quick and talk about some of the current meta things that are going on. So right now we have a card that seems very broken. It is Endra, Champion of Shavka, and it is a 2/2 that says summon, play Shavka's Song, which it deals a damage to an enemy plus an additional damage for each other Shavka Song in your void, and you get extra power each turn for the damage that Shavka's Song dealt. Mastery 6, you play this card again, so you can repeat Shavka's Song a lot, especially if you are recurring the card with Dark Returns, Immortalizes, Taunting Screams, Mirror Images, Schisms, any sort of teleportation effect such as Kairos' Choice or Teleport. There's a lot of different ways to recur Endra, which is making Endra a very interesting card in Throne at the moment. So let's talk about this Throne deck. The version that we are using has a couple of different variations from the common options. The main ones being that I'm using Brilliant Idea because I enjoy being goofy. This is a fun way to draw a bunch of cards if you need them, and it's a good way to basically make sure that the deck's top end absolutely goes off. I think sometimes this deck uses Demand Death in this spot. It also uses Prodigious Sorcery. Both of those are reasonable options as well, and we do keep a Demand Death in market, although I haven't actually been willing to take that risk so far. But yeah. Okay, so basic idea behind this deck. We're playing Endra over and over again. Eventually Endra will get to the point where they inflict lethal. Because we are Haunting Screaming Endra, Endra gets to hit people multiple times. Dark Return also brings Endra back, which has a higher chance of triggering the Mastery as well. When the Mastery is built up any amount, or even if you are just trying to build up the Mastery, you can Mirror Image the card to play it again and again. And with all of that extra power, you can use draw effects such as Devour to keep your card safe, Honor of Claws to draw lots of cards, and Strategize to draw a few cards, as well as Quarry. All of this basically contributes to a deck that is only trying to do one thing and trying to do it very well. Combo decks are pretty real in Throne now. There's just enough cards that you can very easily put together really interesting nonsense like this. I have made a couple of changes. I am using Char so that we can sometimes hit Endra at fast spell speed as opposed to Torch. And the most important thing I think is that we are using Felrauk's Choice, which if you are playing in Feln, if you are playing in Shadow, I recommend running Corrupt or Felrauk's Choice in the meta for the foreseeable future, since this is a card that's pretty good at dealing with Endra in some senses. Other cards that are particularly good against this deck, and we will discuss these up front because I think you're going to be seeing a lot of this. You can shush Endra. You have to pay attention to when it is devourable and when it is not, but people are going to generally be trying to play Endra as well around shush as they can. Holding shush in hand and using it at the appropriate times will actually get you some benefits. Adjudicator's Gavel and Embargo Officer both shut off the Void, Recursion, Dark Return, and Haunting Scream, which allows you to basically deal with Endra on just one level. I've seen people using Desert Marshal, but I don't love it. It's okay to silence Endra, but I would say that unless you are actually killing Endra, that's kind of a big deal. Avagraft is particularly strong against Endra if you can land it. And basically, a lot of the games against Endra are going to be determined by who can effectively force Endra out fast enough to Avagraft it. If you can Avagraft it, that shuts off every single part of this deck, and the only way to stop it is to go in for an Ixtun Merchant and then counter with a Kaleb's Choice, which is what most of these decks are going to be running. Yeah, removing that attachment will give them some access back, but they also have to deal with Gavel, other things like that. The decks that I have seen that have had very strong matchups against this list so far have been primarily Argenport based, particularly because of Street Urchin, which this deck, as you can see, has 43 spells in it, and this is not uncommon for an Endra deck to have that many spells. It's very spell heavy. There's a lot of interesting things going on, so run some spell control with like Street Urchin. Keep in mind that you can counter Endra's ability, and that every time that you can like counter or void bind it, it's a pretty big deal. And yeah, if you can like just basically like do anything along those lines, that's a pretty good option. Another final thing that you can pick up out of your Shadow market is you can grab Waylay. Waylay steals the cards from the void, and doing that will generally like allow you to sort of mess with the deck and make it just a little bit harder to play with. Okay. So, beyond that, here's the deck that we're looking at. The power base is primarily based around crests with diplomatic seals. Diplomatic seals are an interesting choice, but certainly you do the job here. It's a little tricky to get Endra down, but I would say overall, because there's pretty limited color pairings that you're looking for, it's not too bad to go for diplomatic seals, and you shouldn't have too many problems with it. You can change it up if you want to, but yeah, diplomatic seals are undepleted, and undepleted power is very important. We got Granite Waystones to trade into the market. You can also use other Waystones. Seek power to make sure that you get the power that you need, and then beyond that, everything else is just card draw, card draw, card draw, recursion, recursion, recursion. Haunting Scream and Dark Return are the primary ways to bring it back from the void, but mostly we're interacting with on the ground with Mirror Image, Endra, and Ixtune Merchant to grab more Endras so that we have 7 copies guaranteed. Currently, this market, this is something that I haven't actually looked over too much. I would say Combust is fine. Edict of Shavka is particularly good because it gives you a little bit of a green option, and Kaleb's Choice is extremely important. Any sort of attachment destruction really helps out your deck in terms of getting things going. Finally, you can use cards like Prodigious Sorcery and Demand Death to pick up extra copies of Endra's ability and then use them to just blow out and make for a lot of damage. I think it's a pretty interesting deck overall. Let's play a quick game and sort of show it off, but I wanted to talk about this deck primarily just to say, like, here are some of the counters if you're having trouble. So yeah, that's the basic idea. Now let's show you how it plays and what kind of interactions we can see with it. All right, see you in a few with a couple games. All right, here we are up against Joey, Andy, Huvie. We're gonna redraw here. Throwing out some Crest of Fury into Fire. This is an okay hand, but I would say that, like, since we need Shadow to actually start digging, this might actually be a go to 6. Okay, we found Quarry, so Crest of Fury, Crest of Cunning, we can get Quarry out on 3 and start digging then. Ixtune Merchant will be fine. We're just going to look for power mostly, and also if we can pick up any of the key card, then we're definitely going to play that. But beyond that, we're mostly looking for power. Diplomatic Seal is power, and that's also double fire, so that's going to be pretty good for us. Though we might go for Shadow here, so we can Quarry. Sort of question. I think the answer is yes. Double fire here, and then we're going to Crest, Quarry, or Quarry, Crest, rather, since it's better to Quarry before Cresting, unless you are looking for a very specific card, and you need that card next turn. We're trying to pick up 2 different cards or a collection of good cards, so we're going to be going for the Quarry option. Alright, and it looks like, yeah, there's a decent amount of aggro here, so it's going to be a little tricky. Yeti Pioneer and Howling Smuggler. I like the Pioneers, these are a solid addition to the deck. Play Crest here, Dark Return's not really a thing yet. Char seems very good at 0. I think we're going to go ahead and grab that and just kill this Yeti Pioneer before things get crazy. Alright, so Ixtune Merchant's going to trade in Brilliant Idea for our card of choice. We'll then be able to kill Champion of Fury, assuming we aren't dead. Crest of Cunning seems cool.
Get the job done, guaranteed.
There's Endra. That's not important, although power is very good if we can get it. So we try to block the 2/2 without getting piercing shotted. That would be nice. After we play Endra, we will be in okay shape. Ooh, Jabo and Greatsword is a lot of damage. Not in love with that, for sure. Okay, so let's play Endra. That immediately gets that. And then Mirror Imaging gets us 2 damage. So we now have 2 available, which means we can Devour or use a Felrauk's Choice. Either one will be pretty good here. Honor of Claws is cool. Howling Peak Smuggler is sort of whatever at the moment. Might Felrauk's Choice here. No, Devour it is. Okay, so Quarry comes next, or Honor of Claws, either one. I think Quarry is correct. Get the cheap Dark Return, play the Dark Return, and get Endra back. And here's where that recursion engine really comes in handy. Basically, every time that we are playing for that extra damage, like we just also get control of the board, and then once we're fully in control of the board, it's really easy to sort of just curve out and do whatever we want. I would like to Honor of Claws here. I'm kind of tempted to hold on to the Felrauk's choice, but also, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and Honor. Granite Waystone, Endra. Okay, cool. So now we can Endra, Mirror Image, and still have Felrauk's choice next turn, which feels pretty good to me. Okay.
This city will burn.
Now, if it had just been Wump this turn, we would definitely have gone for an attack with Endra into the Mirror Image, since that would put the Mastery 3 on Endra. But in this case, we're just going to Mirror Image so that we can kill Wump, or Duskgrader if we're so inclined. Either option is pretty good. I would say this one's probably the most important, but actually we're going to kill both of them, so it's not too big of a deal. Second Endra plays like this, and yeah, now we're getting up to like 5 damage, 5 power a turn. So with the Strategize, we can start digging really deep. Found some Felrauk's choices, found a brilliant idea for 8, which, yeah, I think I can afford to do that. And with 4 cards, Extune Merchant, attack for 3. Shouldn't die here, and that's the game. So yeah, basically just setting up, getting the Endra out. It's a pretty straightforward deck. There's a lot of interesting things going on with it. But basically the way that you want to interact with this deck is you want to kill it as fast as possible, because it is somewhat incapable of dealing with, like, if you force the Endras out, then you can interact with them a lot better, rather than just waiting for them to sort of stack up a pile of mirror images in hand. It's also quite relevant to use Treachery or Sabotage or any type of card that actually pulls Endra out. If you can Royal Decree it, then that's it. Like that is all that she wrote for Endra, and there's just not going to be anything that they can do about it. Anything with like just like any sort of setup where you can basically hurt it in hand is really solid, but also gaining a bunch of life can keep you somewhat alive for a while, because this deck will run out of steam typically before it deals more than like 20 to 30 damage. It's a little hard to deal with because, like, if it does run out of steam, it can still generally rally with a lot of card draw, and if it gets good enough card draw rips, then certainly it's a thing. But the game isn't necessarily over if they play a bunch of Endras, because they might just be out of stuff. If you can Harsh Rule, wrap the board, that's something that will help out a little bit and potentially get you where you want to go. Okay, let's play one more, and we'll just show it off a little bit more. All right, up against Cheeky Hinds, we're going to say Quarry, Char, and this seems fine. It's not bad because we have all these crests and also the Quarry to dig. It is a little bad because we don't really have a lot of like good power going on, but at least I have that Char, so yeah, I think I'm comfy with this. Let's go ahead and play like a Crest of Fury into a Shadow Sigil, and then just go nuts. Should be great. Another Crest is not amazing. I would be okay with the Dark Return here, but I think we're just trying to find Endra at the moment. This hand is definitely very powerful, and there's not really a lot we can do with that yet. Okay, not going to let Ikaria ramp out or anything. We know that our opponent is in Combre, which means we can expect Shush. Shush is pretty likely to get marketed in, so we're going to try to play around that and generally avoid the deck getting too crazy for us. But yeah, let's just go ahead and play that. Oh, whoops, I played the Char on my main phase, so I should have played the Crest there. My bad. Okay, so we will Quarry here. Haunting Scream and Honor Clause. Honor Clause is the card to grab, and then from there we can just play a Crest of Fury. That'll get us red and blue and help us dig for that Endra. Basically anything that is an Endra we're tossing back, because Endra is the only card that we need to get ahead and win the game. So yeah, next up is Honor Clause again. Draw 3. Extune Merchant gets an Endra, so we want that. We're going to toss one of these depleted power, and we're going to just play another Crest. Devour is pretty good here. I can't quite do anything with it yet, but it does set up for Haunting Scream, so I think we're pretty good with that. We'll probably go for a Strategize Extune Merchant here as opposed to going straight for an Endra, since we want to avoid being shushable if at all possible. Alright, Cheeky Hind's looking pretty good on power, so now we're just going to go ahead and strategize. Draw some cards, found ourselves a Quarry, a Diplomatic Seal. I don't need the Seal that much, it's nice to have the undepleted power. Yeah, we could do Crest here, but I think the Seal is probably the card to go. So, play the power. Extreme Merchant has to trade in as well. We're going to keep Devour, probably going to keep Strategize as well. Brilliant Idea isn't super necessary here, and Crest of Fury is also probably fine to ditch. Either one is pretty easy. I think here it's just going to be, yeah, Endra. Okay, so we can play Endra now. We can then follow up by, it's possible we can kill this Icaria, although most likely this is going to be a 4-3. There it is. And yeah, from here on out, it's just going to be all about like making sure that Endra lives, or rather dies. Okay, big flyers is a good option here. Definitely allows things to go over Endra, which is a big deal. I'm going to Quarry, look for something useful. That was not very useful, so it's a pity, but hey. We can attack for 3 here, but I think that's not going to do a lot of good, so let's just deal 1 damage. Play our Crest of Fury, and keep digging for Endras or better options. Char is helpful, but not quite what we need, so we'll just stay put here. Both of those get to attack, no problems.
I'll crush you! Halt!
And of course there's an attempt to silence the Endra. We're going to Devour there. Got another Endra, which is a big deal. Now we can Haunting Scream and then play into another one, which is, yeah, that's going to be pretty important. Okay, so Granite Waystone here gets us a Granite in, which we might end up trading in for a little bit. At this point, I think the main thing to do is we're going to be looking for... we're going to be looking for as much damage as we can find. So Endra here deals 2.
Will not be stopped.
We're going to kill... We could focus on killing Sediti, or we could focus on killing the 4-4. Either option is interesting. I would say it's most likely to be this one that we need to hit, because we're going to be attacking in with the 2-2 as well. And then second Endra will deal 3, which gets us 3 power. Follow that up with an Honor Clause. And we just discard, I think, the Granite Friend here. We're going to Strategize as well. Found Mirror Image. That is a definitely important card for us. And from here, we can discard a Felrauk's Choice. Mirror Image gets a flying charge unit, so that's going to be something that we can block the 7/7 with.
Shavka's song will not be stopped.
There's 4.
Sword or bullet?
Resulting power up keeps Valkyrie Enforcer alive. So we're going to Quarry as well. And Quarry again, most likely. Dark Return seems great. Attack with both of these, but we're going to leave the other flyer back because we need something to block with. And I believe that's everything that we can do for this round. So if we die, we die. But if we can not lose our 2-2 here, then we'll be okay. Oh, looks like there is something here. Platemaker doesn't quite do it, but does increase the amount of damage that we're taking. So yeah, that's going to be a 2-2 blocking a 7/7. And now we have a more difficult lineup, but in general we're still fine. So we're going to go for Haunting Scream on the one that does not have any mastery. That'll deal 5. A Dark Return on the one that does. That'll deal 6, and that'll kill the Valkyrie.
Shavka's song will not be stopped.
And now we have to decide exactly how many brilliant ideas we want to go for. I think I definitely want to amplify quite a bit. I would say that much, leaving at least enough to mirror image is pretty good. I could also, I think I have a power available, which would mean I could do it one more time. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to amplify one more time. Because we have a power available, and all we need to do is hit a mirror image here, and we're good to go. There's another brilliant idea. That's a Dark Return. The Dark Returns are nice, but they're not quite what we're looking for. We can play a power here, and then, yeah, it's going to be attack with this one, but leave the other one back again, because we want something to block with again. And we did not get a mirror image, so we are actually going to be stuck here, and we could potentially lose. Still don't quite have what we need to kill with the flyer, so notable stuff. Alright, discard here. Just unfortunate we didn't get a mirror image or some sort of playable card here. But that block works, and we've got plenty of Dark Returns left, so... Felrauk's choice. Good enough. Hey, not bad. So yeah, that's the deck. Here's a more unusual and weird version of it, where we are essentially trying to bounce Endra over and over again in an even-handed setup, and eventually you play Soul's Rest and just bounce everything, including all of your Endras, and then you play them again next turn, and they deal a ridiculous amount of damage. It's a pretty fun version of the list. I recommend this if you're looking for something to just sort of relax and have some shenanigans with. Yeah, so this deck's probably likely to get nerfed pretty early. Like, this one looks like it might have been pretty hard to deal with in terms of like the overall meta. I'm very curious to see how it goes. Like, as you can see, the deck is not unbeatable. There are certainly ways to play around it, and I think we might have made like 1 or 2 like mistakes there, but certainly there's like some interesting decision making and interaction there going on. So we'll see exactly how it all shakes out. I'm pretty excited to see whether or not it gets changed or nerfed, but like overall it seems like something that, like, for the moment, for the next couple of days at least, we have to deal with. And if it is in fact super powerful, then we will probably see it changed. And if it isn't, well, definitely important to adapt your strategies accordingly. So here's the new throne list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. We will be back with more Eternal Brews in the future, and hopefully with some other small little bits in between, as I am off for the week coming. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Have a lovely evening. Cheers.